Hey y'all, just the other day I finished reading 1,000 Nights by E.K.Johnston. It was published in October of 2015. This was really good. Can you see it? I hope you can see it. It was really good. The cover art is actually really neat. It took me a while to realize these are all, you probably can't see it very well in the camera, but there's words interwoven. I don't love the girl being lifted up right here, but the word art was beautiful. Very well done. Anyway, so this story takes place Middle Eastern. This king has been going around taking brides from all the villages, and they all get killed. So this girl, basically, for plot's sake, I'm just going to say that she volunteers herself. I don't want to give everything away. There's more to it than that. But she volunteers herself to go with him, and then ultimately she is the one who actually makes a difference. Obviously, I'm not giving anything away. If she wasn't the one who could make a difference, why would there be a book about her? It's not real. It's all fiction. But you know what I mean. There's not going to be a story if she's another bride that's killed. That would be like this big, like Stephanie Meyer's little novella. Anyway, back to the real thing. But I loved it. I loved the way it was written. It was beautiful and it was unique. It fit with the Middle Eastern culture of where she is. Did I even say the title? 1,000 Nights? Wow, I'm scrambled today. That's okay. But it was just so well done, and I could picture things, I could hear things, and it was beautifully written in this style, and it took me to like almost the end of the book to realize that we didn't know the majority of the characters' names. Like the main character girls, her siblings, it's just her eldest brother, her youngest brother, whatever. And it was so fascinating to me once that actually clicked for me that I didn't know these characters' names, but they were still such a part of the story. Not necessarily a huge playing role because it's about her. They were side characters, but still, they have influenced who she has become in her view on life, and we didn't even know their names. I thought that was fascinating. But like I said, I think what I loved most about this book was just how beautifully it was written and how unique it was. I also think, though, it was very narrative at the beginning. Not a lot was actually happening. And I think that could easily turn some readers off. Hold on, I'm counting some pages. Yeah, it was a good, 8 pages before there was actually present action. It was just backstory and narration and whatever. And I kept reading because I knew kind of the plot line and I wanted to see where it was going, and I was already interested in the story that I knew was coming. But if someone was just picking it up for fun, I don't know how well they'd get into it. And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad because it fit very well with the story. The whole thing is not necessarily super narrative, but at the same time it's all through her voice, and she's kind of like, this is what I'm seeing, and then I'm relating it to my past, and so here's a backstory so that you can see how it's connecting in my head, things like that. Real life. It's very real in how we do things in our head, but you're just so much in our head. So some people might think that's dull. I found it, well, first off, it was very well done, and I found it really neat. I thought it was well done for the story being told. Obviously, some things should not be written that way, like action stories, but in the case of this one, it worked really well, so I thought that was impressive. I just liked the culture that was in it. I don't know enough about Middle Eastern cultures, and it was never a specified place or culture or whatever. And I don't know enough about them as a whole or in general to pick out different things. There were some things that I recognized that crossed over, and so crossed over from fiction and reality. There was enough that I recognized that she based a lot of her cultural things in real facts. Some of it may be fiction. Like I said, I don't know the culture well enough, but it was neat to be in this other culture that I'm not used to, and even though part of it could be made up, I never felt like I was missing anything. This is getting kind of rambly. Hopefully you're following. I thought it was just very well done, being in another place, another culture, and understanding their customs, and then recognizing when things were off or appropriate, or this is happening because that would be disrespectful in their culture. I understood that very well, even though it was so different than my middle class American life, right? E.K. Johnston just did a very good job. She was just great. I enjoyed it a lot. So I think you should read it. I'm not gonna say too much more. It was fascinating. And honestly, it was beautifully written. E.K. Johnston did a really good job. She did great. So I encourage you to check it out. And I would love to hear your thoughts on it as well, because I think this one could have a lot said about it, but I don't want to spoil any plot or surprises or anything like that. So that's all I'm really going to say on this one. But it was great. I recommend it. And keep reading.